Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to class. This is module 12A, and we are discussing something very interesting today. So, our topic is infection control. Infection control. I believe, in a layman's language, even without going through the topic, if we are asked questions about what infection is, this topic now consists mainly in two words: infection and the word control. So we know what infection is, we should know what infection is, and we should know what control is. Now, bringing both together, we're able to explain the brief concept of what we're talking about today. So, in my own term, I would define infection as anything that's capable of causing what? Disease or harm to the body system. And most of the time, when we talk about infection, our mind goes towards microorganisms and infective agents, like you hear bacteria, you hear fungal infection, you hear viral infections. Infections are different classes. So those things that are capable of what inflicting harm on the host. And who is the host? Human beings having as a host here. So any disease kind of any microorganism, whatever, that when it comes into your body, it causes harm. We call it what? Infection. Now, what is control? Control can be termed as a means of regulating something. So, infection control will simply mean what? A process by which we regulate the spread of infection as well as how people contact infection. So, in a brief language, that is just what we're talking about here. So, that way, so much time, we'll move quickly to the introduction. Proper infection control will help to eliminate pests, bacteria, viruses, and fungi. As we know what pests is, that pests are those things that causes what? Disturbance. Those things that causes problem within anywhere you find them. They destroy the host, or they cause problem to the host. Bacteria, like I mentioned earlier, viruses and fungi, all these are part of infections, and all these things can lead to diseases. So, as home health aides or personal care aides, you should seek proper hand washing before and after each task. Now, since our topic is mainly infection control, so one of the effective way to prevent infection, one of the most effective way, one of the simplest way, most effective, less cost is what? Wash your hand. Why? Your hand goes to your mouth, your hand goes to virtually every part of your body. So when your hands are clean, you are 50%, you have 50% chances of what? Of being free from infection. Of course, infection doesn't only come to you through your hands alone. But then at least washing your hands regularly means you wash your hand before eating so you don't infect yourself. You wash your hand before even, don't just, your hands are clean. You can scrub your hand touching your eyeballs. And all these processes are way of getting infection into the body. So this hand washing is one of the best ways to prevent the spread of infection. And also using gloves as appropriate to the situation is also a means of preventing infection. So home health aides or personal care aides should wear gloves whenever they will come in contact with the body fluids such as blood, feces, urine, or saliva. Why? Most of these fluids are capable of transferring. For example, hepatitis B. Hepatitis B can be spread through fluids, body fluids. So come to a stage in hepatitis B that the sweat, the urine, the saliva, the feces, even the blood of the patient can transfer the infection. So when the case demands it, we put on gloves so as to prevent you from having a direct contact with those body fluids. So wearing gloves when changing a patient, assisting them to toilet, bathing, handling dirty linens, or preparing food. So you never reuse disposable gloves. That's why it's called disposable. You don't use, you remove, maybe you even wash and sun dry. No, no, no. Disposable gloves are used only once and then they are discarded after one use. So we use rubber for household gloves, even when you are handling harsh chemicals. So these gloves can be sanitized and stored for later use. So there are some other gloves that are not disposable. Those are rubber gloves or those household gloves. So you can use them when handling what? Harsh chemicals and you can sanitize and use later. This is an example of disinfective agents. These are examples of what disinfective agents here on the screen. So you use separate cleaning rags and towels for clean and dirty areas. You don't mix up this using sorry for the brief break. So use separate cleaning rags and towels for clean and dry areas, and only use clean dish clothes and towels in the kitchen for handling food. Use a separate cleaning clothes and rubber gloves for the bedroom, and whenever possible, use disposable wipes or cloths for clean areas such as the toilet, which may have many microorganisms on its surfaces. So you don't just do things anyhow. Whatever you use for the toilet, let it be for the toilet. Whatever is for the kitchen, let it be for the kitchen. Whatever you use for the living room, let it be for the living room. Because once you use what you use to clean the toilet to clean your living room, you have successfully transferred microorganisms that are in the toilet to your living room. And trust me, your hygiene level in the toilet is not the same as in the living room. Why? Because if you use the toilet, you wash your hands. You know after the toilet, you after touching those, you have to wash your hands. You know that everybody knows that. But in the living room, you touch the floor, you touch the table, you don't remember to wash your hands even before eating some things at times. So imagine you transferring microorganisms from the toilet to the living room to the table. You definitely consume a lot of microorganisms. I hope you get that. So whenever possible, you use disposable wipes or clothes for cleaning areas like the toilet, which many microorganisms are on, so that you dispose them after use. And ensure that your food is properly stored and refrigerators and freezers are at proper temperatures.
So màá wá rí Sharon. Ẹ sọ fún Àlíyà tí n bá ti tẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ kó pe Sharon wọlé.
So ensure food is properly stored and refrigerators and freezers are at proper temperatures. And ensure that packaged food stored in cupboards is kept closed in airtight seals, which prevents spoilage or invasion of pests or microorganisms. And if home health aides or personal care aid notice evidence of pests such as maybe roaches, lice, bedbugs, or mice, they should inform your supervisor. So additional precaution will need to be taken to rid the patient's home of those uh, infestations. So to make the most efficient use of time and to properly clean the patient's home health aides or personal care aid will need to use the appropriate cleaning equipment or the cleaning supplies. Basic cleaning tools like broom, dustpan or brush, the mop, the pail, toilet brush, the rags, the straw brush, the sponges, the dish clothes, the dish rags, the vacuum cleaner, the carpet sweeper, the dust mop, the dust cloths, the cleaning products, the cleaning wipes, disinfectants, rubber household cleaning gloves as well. All these are cleaning products. So now we'll be looking at cleaning products as a subtopic on its own. So cleaning products. There are many types of cleaning products on the market, and the type we will use will depend on the surface we want to clean, the purpose of the cleaning also, and the patient's preference, and what's available, what's available in the patient's home. So home health aides or personal care aides to ask their patients if a cleaner is safe on a particular surface. So all purpose cleaners, uh, like we have all purpose cleaners, we call them multi-purpose cleaners. But they're generally used for many purposes on many surfaces as well. And they can be used as counterparts, countertops, cook ranges, walls, floors, and other surfaces. So you always check the label to see what surface the cleaner can be, the cleaning device, the cleaning that can be used on. Some cleaners are not safe on surfaces such as unfinished woods. Uh, when in doubt, you can ask your patient or you can ask your supervisor. So disinfectant as well. Disinfectants are used to disinfect. That means to get rid of germs from what? From surfaces. They can be sprayed on surfaces such as faucet handles, doorknobs, light switches, phone handles, refrigerator handles, and other surfaces. So disinfectants come in any form such as sprays, wipes, and solutions. Now we also have bleach. We have soap and detergents. So what are bleaches? Bleach can be used as a disinfectant and a cleaner to clean the bathroom and surfaces such as cotton buds and for laundering white clothes. So bleach, just as we know, we are part of hypo, jig, all these are bleach. So they help towards, just like the name, bleach. So they bleach the surface white or pure. So whenever you are using this, never use a full strength bleach on any surface. To make a cleaning solution using bleach, you mix 1 teaspoon of bleach to 1 gallon of water. Be cautious of spilling bleach on unsafe surfaces and clothing as it will discolor the surface. So never mix bleach with any other cleanser. We have soaps and detergents. They are used for washing dishes and doing laundry. So you follow the manufacturer's instruction for the amount of detergents required for dishwashers and washing machines. Using too much detergent can ruin the appliance. We also have abrasive cleansers. Abrasive cleansers are used for what? For scoring surfaces such as maybe stainless steels or the stainless steel sink and even the stove tops. We have glass cleaners, and glass cleaners are used to clean glass surfaces such as maybe the windows or the mirrors. While you have dusting spray, dusting spray here too is used for dusting, like dusting spray to be sprayed onto a cleaning clothes bed you use to clean the wall. You don't spray dusting spray directly on the surface to be cleaned. So you have a specialty cleansers too. So these cleansers are available for special purposes or special surfaces. Stove tops, appliance, electronics, and they also require a specialty cleaner. So safety tips for home health aides or personal care aides using equipment and supply. The first thing is never mix cleaning products together, like never mix cleaning products. Dangerous chemical reactions can occur if this happens, and that can harm your patient. So, number one is what never mix cleaning products. Dangerous chemicals reaction will occur, hours can occur, or it may occur. And this can be very, very detrimental or harmful to your patients. Then secondly, never mix bleach with ammonia or any other cleansing product, as the fumes are toxic and can lead to you yourself or your patient's death. Now, whenever possible, open windows while cleaning and be cautious of using chemicals such as ammonia or bleach in closed spaces. Always find out how to use equipment by reading instruction manuals or by asking the patient or supervisor. So do not overload equipment on electrical circuit as well. So all these are safety tips for home health aides when using equipment. So you never use electrical equipment near water. This will result in electrocution and death. And always unplug electrical appliances before cleaning. That is very important. You never poke or repair electrical equipment with metal objects, and that is very dangerous. When you poke or repair any electrical object and you are holding the metal, and the metal is not insulated, it's just pure metal, it can result in electric shock, electrocution. So you never use electrical equipment with frayed or damaged cord as well. So this could result in execution and also death. Then, when unplugging appliances, you grasp the plug at the base to remove from the electrical outlet and never pull the cord, because the cord could get damaged and in the process you could get electrocuted. When unplugging appliances, you grasp the plug at the base to remove from electrical outlet. Never pull the cord, as this could cause damage, and keep the equipment clean and in good working order. So speak to the patient and supervisor if any equipment needs repair. So considering each task currently, kitchen cleaning task and other tasks. So we start with the kitchen cleaning task. The kitchen should be cleaned after every use. The home health aides or personal care aides should encourage family members to do the same. So now what are kitchen tasks? Wash dishes immediately after use, and those dishes should be washed in hot soapy water using dish detergent. All dry wash air dry wash plates or the wash dishes and pots after, rather than using a dishing towel. Yes, we didn't have someone in the kitchen. So if using a dishwasher, learn how to properly use it. Dishwashers can also be used to sterilize items. As some dishwashers require food to be scraped and placed to be rinsed before loading. Many items cannot be washed in dishwasher, such as electric appliances, china, crystals, or cast iron. So always check with the patient. Then put the dishes away after they are air dried. Then you clean the kitchen sink and faucet with a scouring or specialty cleaner at least once in a day. So wipe and clean surfaces as you walk, and at least walk once per day. You take out the garbage daily before you leave for the day. So sweep the kitchen floor daily and mop at least once per week or even more if needed. Ensure the floor is dry to prevent falls. Stove stoves should be cleaned with hot soapy water and all-purpose or specialty cleaner. When you find out the appropriate type of cleaner to use. Ovens are cleaned periodically. Some ovens are self-cleaning, while others require direct cleaning with a specialty oven cleaner. Be cautious to use rubber gloves and not to inhale oven cleaner as fumes. And the fumes can be toxic. We ensure no children or pets are around when using oven cleaner, as ingestion of this fumes or this chemical, these things can work and be very, very deadly. Then you clean out the refrigerator once per week. Discard the items that are spoiled, wipe surfaces of spills and crumbs, and ensure food is properly spaced in the refrigerator to allow good air circulation. Then wipe the refrigerator door and any spills inside once per day. We defrost the freezer when necessary because when defrosting, all food should be removed and stored in a cooler place to keep it cool and prevent spoilage. Now, follow the manufacturer's instruction on how to defrost the specific units a patient has. Clean inside cabinets, drawers, and cupboards once or twice per year or as needed. Bathroom cleaning task. So how do you clean the bathroom? How do you achieve or how do you accomplish the bathroom cleaning task? Now, we know that the bathroom is a living space that has many bacteria present due to urine, feces, and blood. So it is also a damp and moist space where many bacteria are encouraged to grow. So what do? You wash from clean to dirty areas. Prevent spreading dirt bacteria from dirty to clean areas. So you wash from what? From dirty to clean, not from clean to dirty. Then the toilet, from you wash from clean to dirty, not from dirty to clean. I mixed that up. So you wash from what? From clean areas to dirty areas, not washing from the dirty areas to the clean areas, as this can transfer the infection. To ensure the toilet is flushed each time it is used, we encourage household members to do this. Close the lid on the toilet prior to flushing to prevent splashing of urine and feces onto the other surfaces. Then the shower and the shower surfaces should also be wiped down after each use. Ensure that the cleaner use is safe for the surface. So scouring cleaners are not safe for use on porcelain and tiles as it can scratch the tiles. So shower walls or tub bottoms or shower curtains and doors should all be wiped down daily, like from up to down, thoroughly cleaned also at least once per week with all purpose or specialty cleaner. And this is an example of what was cleaning the toilet. So hair should be removed from drains to prevent clogs after each bath shower. Used towels should be hung to dry or placed in a laundry hamper to be washed rather than kept on the floor. Bath mats and rugs should be hung to dry off the floor. The sink should also be wiped down after brushing teeth, shaving, or washing to rinse the surface of toothpaste or shaving cream and cleaners. The faucet should also be disinfected with all-purpose cleaner or disinfectant solutions daily. Toiletries and personal items should be stored and kept organized. Mirrors and glasses surfaces should be cleaned with glass cleaners and kept in clean splashes. Clean them off splashes. Then wipe the surface of the toilet lid, toilet cover, and the flush handle with a disinfectant cleaner daily. Scrub the inside of the toilet bowl with a brush and use an all-purpose cleaner with disinfectant at least once per week. Be sure to scrub under the rim of the toilet. The toilet brush should be washed with a disinfectant solution and allowed to air dry before storing. Ensure handrails and safety equipment are in good working order on a daily basis. To inform a supervisor immediately if they are not. Vacuum or sweep the floor daily. Wet them up at least once. Wet them up at least once a week or twice as the case may be, and ensure that the floor is dry and prevent us in the bedroom. Ensure towels and bath rugs and mats are clean and dry, and you replace clean towels daily. Wipe down hampers and also waste baskets with a disinfectant cleanser at least once per week. So all these we've been discussing are what how to achieve a good toilet task or bathroom task. If you don't do things well, you end up spreading infection than curbing or controlling them. Our team is how to control infection. So if you don't do it well, imagine you clean from dirty to clean. You will transfer the infections that are in the dirty area to the clean area. So are you preventing or spreading infection? So the next one is the living room task. Living room cleaning task. So the living room is often a place where family spends a great deal of time. So it should always appear tidy and organized. Home health is a personal care aids can encourage the family to pick up after themselves by modeling this behavior. Like living room tasks now are as follows. Pick up clutter as you see it and at least once per day. Encourage and teach family members to do the same. Pick up newspapers, magazine books, and toys as needed and at least once per day. Uh, Organize items kept in living rooms and store them in their appropriate places. Keeping the room organized. An organized living room sends a good impression about the home. But imagine you go into a living room and then everything is disorganized. There's people on the ground, people are flying up, and you doesn't give you a good impression. So organize items and keep them there where they actually belong. So this is an example of living room cleaning. Living room cleaning. So you also vacuum rugs at least once per week. And if there is dirt or food crumbs on the floor, you may need to vacuum more frequently. Crumbs from food attract pests, so you clean and vacuum it more frequently. That there won't be what attraction of pests. So you sweep the tile or the linoleum floors daily. Whatever floor it is, sweep it daily, mop at least once per week, at least, like at the smallest once per week. So, but that doesn't mean that you must do it once per week. It can be more than, must not be less than. And also more if the floors are even dirty. To ensure the floor is dry to prevent what? Prevent falls. And also just surfaces once per week as more are required or as more as required. So you must or you can use the specific dust cloths, dusting sprays, or wraps to remove the dust. And ensure that there's no loose rugs and other cheap hazards such as cords in order for us to prevent fall. And lamps and lighting sources should be checked for good use. Good lighting helps to prevent falls as well. Now, the bedroom cleaning task. The bedroom is a place where men people go to sleep and rest after a whole lot of stress throughout the day. So, to promote good health, hygiene, and rest, the bedroom must be tidied daily. How do we achieve this? The first thing is to pick up clutter as you see it and at least once per day and encourage and teach family members to do the same. The bed should be made daily. Bed linens should be changed at least once per week or more as needed and whenever soiled or wet. Waste baskets should also be emptied daily and wiped down with a disinfectant at least once per week. For example, you discard waste daily, but you may clean once per week or more if required. So dirty linens and clothing should be picked up and stored in a hamper or for laundry. The clean clothes should be folded and stored in the appropriate places. Dust surfaces once per week and as more as required. You can also use disposable dust clothes or dusting sprays or rags to remove those dust. Sweep daily to remove dirt, dust, and food crumbs. Mop floors with a towel or a linoleum or the nail surface are any surface it is at all. I was at least once per week or as much as possible. Then vacuum rugs at least once per week. Lamp and lighting should be checked for good use. The good lighting helps to prevent falls. Good lighting helps to prevent falls. Ensure there is no loose rugs and other tripped hazards such as cords in order to prevent falls. So washing floors. Now this is another task. We talk about the kitchen task, bathroom task, the living room task, the bedroom task. Now we're talking about how to wash the floor. So when washing floors, home health is a personal care you should always sweep or vacuum first. There is no way you will mop a dusty floor. Like how would I put it? If the floor is with across, all these crumbs and everything on the floor, you won't have an effective mopping. So the first thing you do is to what you vacuum or you sweep the floor first. And this helps to remove all those debris and the food crumbs or the visible dirt and dust, the visible ones from the environment. So it makes it what halfway clean. And you mark up the area to prevent others from entering while the floor is wet. Because when you are cleaning and the floor is wet, you see that you tend to when you step on that place, you stain. So to prevent what wasted effort as well as in what I call it this a cleaning that is not perfect. So you mark up the area to prevent others from entering while the floor is still wet. Then you use the appropriate floor cleaner, and then certain cleaners should be used for the vinyl or the linoleum or towel and may not be safe for wood surfaces. So you check very well, as we said earlier, that there are specific cleaners for or cleansers for specific surfaces. So know the cleansers for specific surfaces and use them well. Other types of cleaners may need to be used for wood surfaces. So if it is wood surfaces, you may need other type of cleaners. And if it is tile or aluminum, you may need to use a special type of cleaners. So this is an example of someone doing the work, washing the floor, using a mop to wash to mop the floor. So let's take a look at laundry. What is laundry? Laundry is how what you wash clothes. Washing clothes is same as yes, that's laundry. So when performing laundry or when doing laundry, you always wear gloves when you are handling the soil. Find out how to use the washing machine and dryer by reading the instructions manual or asking the patient or your supervisor on how to use it. So at home health, the personal care is we should talk to our patients about their preference on how they want their clothes to be laundered or laundered. Some types of clothing should only be hand washed or washed in a certain temperature and with a special washing. So some clothing items should not be placed in the dryer. And there's some clothes that you see that they say this clothes that is washing that just to bleach out. The color bleaches out with other clothes. So you don't wash this clothes with white clothes. They are color, so you don't wash them with white because white tends to bleed and stain the white. So you take precautions on what type of clothes and how should you wash them, as well as even how to use the washing machine itself. So you check out the pocket for money and other items prior to washing. If you turn all the money you found to the appropriate person, separate clothing into piles to be washed. Dark, white, towels, delicate items, you separate them into piles and wash them in what? In piles. Here's an example of someone who is washing. So here I color clothing putting the in the washing machine. So you check, you are careful that you don't put white and brown and yellow and pink all together because they may bleach and then exchange colors and that's all. To only use the recommended amount and type of laundry detergent, some machines require a very high efficient detergent. So you use more or so using more or the wrong kind of detergent can ruin the washing machine itself, as well as ruining the clothes. Now, some clothing requires specialty detergents. Like baby clothing should only be washed with what hypoallergenic and special agents detergents to what prevent skin irritation. So if you wash with anyhow detergents or soap, so that it just having what irritations and skin rashes and the likes. So whenever you bleach when washing clothing other than all white clothing or linen, you don't wash color clothing with bleach. So check with the patient prior to using the bleach to find out their preferences. And the soiled and stained clothing may require a treatment with a special cleanser prior to washing. A small amount of liquid detergent or stain switcher can be applied to the stain and worked in with a scrub brush or old toothbrush. So whenever possible, treat stains immediately. They are more difficult to remove once they are set. Then you use the correct temperature for washing the clothes. Like using cool or cold water whenever possible to save energy and money. Then hot water is generally used for bed linen, towels, and whites. The cold water is generally used for darker items. So you use the correct wash and dry settings for the clothing to be washed and dried. Normal wash and dry settings can be used for most clothing. For delicate or gentle cycles are typically used for delicate clothing under garments, cotton garments, tablecloths. So find out the patient's preference. Heavy, heavy items now should that needs a longer drying period. So they should usually be set on a higher temperature. What are those type of heavier items like your towels, your blankets? All these are what they have a longer drying time. Then use fabric softeners and dryer sheets. According to patient preference, generally dryer sheets are not used with towels and they are prevents water absorption. So you clean the lens filter after use, then keep the top of the washing machine and the dryer clean. So you wipe up the laundry detergent spills immediately after you are done. For clothing, once dry, immediately in order to prevent wrinkling, store clothing in the appropriate place, fasten hooks and buttons prior to storing. Then you always ensure clothing is completely dry prior to storage or mildew. I repeat this part. You fasten hooks and buttons prior to storing, always ensuring that uh, clothing is completely dry prior to storage. So when ironing, always check the clothing label for what appropriate iron temperature. Then use the lowest set if you are unsure. Use only DC water in iron to prevent clothing stain. If for minerals in hard water, use an ironing board or special surfaces while ironing to prevent burns to the surface on which you are ironing. So as you are good with laundry, you should be good with ironing. As laundry has a special soap, special rules. Also, ironing has its own special rules. So you don't iron with high temperature. Too many high temperatures can burn the clothes. Can burn the clothes. So finally, always keep the iron moving and never set it on clothing as this will burn and damage the clothing. So it could also potentially cause the clothing to get set on fire. So immediately you hang or store clothes once you are finished ironing to prevent wrinkling. So these are tasks as what laundry. These are laundry tasks. So we are content of the first module, the first part of the 12th module, which is the 12A, which we talk about inclusion and control. The most thing we talk about here, we're going to brief recap before we finish or before we end the lecture. We talk about infection control and we introduce ourselves to what infection means and how what to control is and what infection control itself means. Then we talked about what are those things that can be used for cleaning, and I'll show you a picture. Then we now mentioned the cleaning products, and we talk about the all-purpose cleaners, the disinfectants. We talked about the bleach, the soaps, and detergents. We also talked about the abrasive cleansers, the glass cleansers, the dusting sprays. We also talked about the specialty cleansers, and also we moved to the next point, which was safety tips for home health aids or personal care aids using equipment and supplies. Then we made mention of what you should never do at a home health aid when handling supplies or equipment. And then we mentioned to how to achieve tasks. Then we started with teaching tasks. Then we also moved after teaching tasks. We had a picture representation of teaching tasks. Then we talked about bedroom cleaning tasks. Then after bedroom cleaning tasks, talked about how you clean your bedroom, things to clean, and I know something specifically that you should not move from dirty to clean, but rather from clean to dirty areas when doing cleaning. Then we mentioned living room cleaning task, living room cleaning task. So we also mentioned the bedroom cleaning task. And we also talked about the floor washing, that's washing the floors. There we made mention of how you should do washing of the floors. And finally, we talked about laundry. Talk about laundry. And the last thing we discussed to be specific about where we stop is that you iron clothes, you always keep the iron moving when you're ironing clothes. While ironing clothes, never set your iron on its spot. You keep it moving so that what you don't get the clothes burnt. Or then after that you fold the clothes then from what you just fold. Thanks for your time, thanks for your listening. Have a wonderful day.